and chicken breast, the staple of every bodybuilder's diet, or so it seemed. It was a symbol of the commitment, the discipline and the sheer willpower required to sculpt a physique that could turn heads and inspire awe. So there I was, scrolling through the abyss of the internet, a place where time seems to stand still and yet fly by at the same time. I was looking for something, anything, to break the monotony of my daily routine, when I stumbled upon a challenge: swap diets with a bodybuilder for 24 hours. It was one of those moments where curiosity and a sense of adventure collide, creating a spark that you just can't ignore. Now, I like a good challenge as much as the next person, but this felt different. It wasn't just about trying something new, it was about stepping into a world that was completely foreign to me. This felt like signing up for a marathon while owning a comfortable pair of slippers as your primary mode of transport. The contrast was stark, and the challenge seemed almost insurmountable. Still, curiosity, and maybe a sliver of self-loathing, got the better of me. I couldn't help but wonder what it would be like to live, even for a day, in the shoes of someone who dedicated their life to fitness and nutrition. I signed up, blissfully unaware of the culinary odyssey that awaited me. The excitement of the unknown was intoxicating, and I felt a rush of adrenaline as I clicked the sign-up button. My friend John, a man who could bench press a small car, graciously agreed to be my spirit guide in this endeavor. His muscles were a testament to his dedication, and I knew I was in good hands. He sent over his meal plan. It was detailed, precise, and a bit overwhelming. The sheer amount of food and the strict schedule were daunting, to say the least. It was like reading a foreign language, one where the words chicken, broccoli, and protein seemed to be the only vocabulary words. The simplicity of the ingredients belied the complexity of the regimen. There were numbers, too, lots of them, measuring every gram and ounce with a precision that felt more at home in a chemistry lab than my kitchen. The meticulousness was both impressive and intimidating. Fear, mixed with a strange sense of excitement, bubbled in my stomach. It was the kind of fear that comes with stepping out of your comfort zone, but also the excitement of embarking on a new adventure. I went to bed early that night, knowing the next 24 hours would be interesting, to say the least. My mind raced with thoughts of what was to come, and I could hardly sleep. This is it, I thought, staring at the alarm clock. The moment of truth was almost here, and there was no turning back now. Time to become a temporary bodybuilder. The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying, but I was committed. Little did I know my journey was just beginning. The next 24 hours would test my limits, challenge my perceptions, and perhaps change me in ways I couldn't yet imagine. My usual breakfast routine involves copious amounts of coffee and something sweet. It's a ritual that sets the tone for my day, a moment of calm before the chaos. I savor the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the delicate flakiness of a croissant, or the juicy burst of fresh fruit. It's a small indulgence that feels like a reward for simply waking up. Maybe a pastry, maybe some fruit, always with a generous helping of procrastination. I linger over breakfast, scrolling through my phone, catching up on the news, or just daydreaming. It's my time to ease into the day, to let my mind wander before the demands of work and life take over. John's meal plan, however, had other ideas. It was a strict regimen designed to optimize every aspect of my nutrition, with no room for my leisurely breakfast habits. The plan was precise, almost militaristic, and it left no space for my beloved pastries or fruit. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, and staring back at me from the plate was a mountain of oatmeal, egg whites, and, you guessed it, chicken breast. The sight was almost comical, a far cry from my usual breakfast spread. I couldn't help but feel a pang of longing for my coffee and croissant. Chicken for breakfast? This was uncharted territory. I had always associated chicken with lunch or dinner, never with the first meal of the day. It felt wrong, like wearing shoes on the wrong feet. The oatmeal was fine. It was bland and unremarkable, a mere vehicle for sustenance rather than enjoyment. The egg whites were, well, egg whites. They were as plain as could be, offering little in the way of flavor or excitement. But the chicken? It sat there on my plate, a bland, protein-packed monolith mocking my usual breakfast indulgences. It was a stark reminder of the sacrifices I was making in the name of health and fitness. I choked it down, every chew a testament to my commitment to this bizarre experiment. Each bite was a struggle, a battle between my taste buds and my willpower. My stomach, usually content with a leisurely wake-up call, felt like it had been thrown into a boot camp. It grumbled in protest, clearly unhappy with this new regime. This was only the first meal. The day stretched out before me, filled with more of John's meticulously planned meals. I couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. I shuddered to think what the rest of the day had in store. If breakfast was this challenging, what horrors awaited me at lunch and dinner? The thought was almost too much to bear. John had warned me about the meal prepping. He had this way of making it sound like a sacred ritual, a rite of passage that would transform my chaotic eating habits into a streamlined, efficient process. "It's a way of life," he'd said, eyes gleaming with the zeal of a convert. He spoke of the benefits, the time saved, the money conserved, the health improvements. It all sounded so convincing, so logical. Now, standing in my kitchen, surrounded by enough Tupperware to build a small fortress, I finally understood. The sheer volume of containers was overwhelming. They were everywhere, on the countertops, in the cupboards, even on the floor. Every meal was prepped, measured, and packed into its own little plastic prison. Chicken, rice, broccoli, repeat. The monotony of it all was starting to sink in. Each container was a reminder of the repetitive nature of this new lifestyle. It was like a culinary Groundhog Day, only instead of Bill Murray's witty despair, I had the sinking feeling that I'd be chewing my way through the same few ingredients for the rest of my life. The excitement of meal prepping was quickly fading, replaced by a sense of dread. The monotony was broken only by the occasional struggle to fit all the containers into my fridge, a game of Tupperware Tetris that I was quickly losing. Each attempt to rearrange the containers felt like a puzzle with no solution. By the time I was done, my kitchen looked like a bomb had gone off in a health food store. There were bits of broccoli on the floor, grains of rice scattered across the counter, and the smell of cooked chicken lingering in the air. I was exhausted, and it wasn't even lunchtime yet. The thought of doing this every week was daunting, but maybe, just maybe with time, I'd get the hang of it. For now, though, I was just trying to survive my first day in the world of Tupperware Tetris. The protein shake arrived mid-morning, a thick, chalky concoction that tasted vaguely of vanilla and regret. It was, in John's words, essential for muscle recovery. I wasn't entirely sure what I was recovering from, aside from the trauma of meal prepping, but I dutifully downed the shake, each gulp a step further into this strange, protein-obsessed world. Then came the gym. John, bless his cotton socks, had agreed to train me. Now I'm no stranger to exercise, but the intensity of John's workout was something else entirely. Weights I didn't know existed were lifted, muscles I didn't know I had were screaming for mercy. By the end of the session, I was a sweaty, shaking mess. John, on the other hand, looked like he'd just finished a light jog. "Feeling the burn?" he asked cheerfully. I managed a weak groan in response. Lunch was, well, it was more chicken rice and broccoli. The taste, or lack thereof, was becoming familiar. I swear I could feel my taste buds staging a mutiny, begging for a sliver of spice, a hint of something, anything other than bland boiled goodness. "How do you do this every day?" I asked John, my voice heavy with awe and a tinge of despair. He just shrugged. "You get used to it." I wasn't sure if I should be amazed by his willpower or pity his poor, tortured taste buds.